Tony Alford is enjoying life in Ann Arbor, and I think that is really telling. And he had some things to say about his time in Ann Arbor, what he thinks separates Michigan from that other place, and what he had to say about that other place. Spoiler, it's Ohio State, and he is very much talking like a Michigan man. What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like this video and answer the question in the comments below. Do you think that Tony Alford is right in his assessment of Michigan? And, you know, since we're here, it feels like it's odd to see former Buckeyes or ex-Buckeye coaches having things to say about Ohio State, especially going into this very important week 1 matchup where number 3 Ohio State hosts number 1 Texas. And I kind of want to get at the Jaxon Smith-Njigba stuff too, but I want to start with Tony Alford, who gave a pretty lengthy quote, and I read it all, and I think it's important to read it all before we get to the punchy part, which I'm sure is already going to be what people are interested in. But I often just kind of want to take these things and closely read them and apply something like a brain to what's being said. So let's talk about what Tony Alford had to say. Quote, "Yes, this Block M is amazing, and it's different. It's one thing to say it's different. I know everyone's going to say every school you go to, the coaches, we're different. I think the young men in our family need to come here to experience it. This place is different. I think the people are different. I think our staff is different. Our head coach damn sure is different." Yeah, I'm going to let that one slide for the moment. I had a thing to say in there, but I'm just going to tell you, Sharon went to Oklahoma. Sharon is black. I'm gonna leave it there. Nothing else to say. 2 facts. He went to Oklahoma, and Sharon is black. I think when young people sit here, and especially with him, when they sit in the room with him, they walk out like, yeah, that guy's a real one. There's There's not the overbearing. There's not the pretentiousness and the clicks. This place is just different. Okay. Our players, I think when you sit with our players, some of the kids that I've had that have come in recently in recruiting, they speak volumes about our players. And those are the best recruiters we have. It's not the coaches, it's the players. And so we sit down with them. We have an amazing locker room to sell, if you will, or present. I think this community, how they've embraced this team and this culture has been unlike anywhere else I've ever been. And so this is just a different place. It's a different place. And then we get a break, and he says, "I hope that answers your question." Ostensibly, how is this place treating you, Tony Alford? "I hope that answers your question. Do you want me to say something really bad about that other place, Ohio State? I'll say, yeah, we're better. There you go. Now I'm going to get crucified on that. It's all right." Is it though? Is that how you feel? I don't know. I wouldn't want to be crucified. I wouldn't want to serve myself up to be filet mignon. But if that's where your head goes, I'm sure that there are Ohio State fans that are making much like Lieutenant Aldo Raines and yelling, "Oblige him." Look, man, it's hard to be the running backs coach at Ohio State and then your next job be the running back coach at Michigan. And oh, by the way, after you took that job, we're talking about winning a national championship. Watching Ohio State do it. Carlos Loughlin comes in, and that's just what it is, right? And then you got Donovan Edwards, and Donovan Edwards does not piss a drop for you. You got to go with Khalil Mullins, and now you got to go into the portal, get Justice Haynes out, and you got to expect Jordan Marshall to be the guy that you think he's going to be, all while you're breaking in the true freshman quarterback who thinks that nobody's seen a freshman like him before. Yeah, it's different. That's different. That's a lot of different. I don't know that that's a lot of different that you want, but that's different. I'm also going to point out, like, when you talk about pretentiousness and clicks, look, man, it's football and it's football teams. Anybody that's inside of a program, inside of a building knows that you got clicks and you got people that go with some people, you got people that don't, right? Ask people how they feel about the offensive line, defensive line. Do they mingle? Do they hang out? No. No, they do not. The quarterbacks, they over there by themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to bring the room together, that's going to be real difficult outside that coach walking in there going, hey, everybody form up. You know what I'm saying? Grab a knee. It's hard, right? But I also think it's important to note that if Tony Alford hadn't left Michigan for what looked like, I want to get paid more money, maybe Ohio State fans feel some kind of way about that. But he is also another assistant who thought that, he was more valuable than Ohio State thought he was. And so he took the job that was offered that paid him more. Same thing happened with Jim Knowles, you'll remember. Folks that show up to Ohio State, people expect it. I should say Buckeye fans expect you to treat it like your Yankees job. There is no better job. There is no better job than the one that you have at Ohio State. Why would you leave? And it's like, well, because I would like to make a little bit more money. And it's like, how much more money would you like to make? And if you quote them a figure, maybe they give it, maybe they don't. Also talking about a program that does feel some kind of way about itself, because you got to check it. What's the losing season that you enjoy at Ohio State? You are going to play for championships. You're going to recruit on the name, the image, the likeness, the brand of the Buckeyes before you do anything else, right? Like, let's not be coy about that. Same thing is true at Michigan, who has the most wins in college football history with over 1,000. I think they're sitting at 1,012 going into this weekend against New Mexico. Again, I paused probably a little too long at the Sharon Moore stuff, but different subject. So Jaxon Smith-Njigba also got in on this when he went on the pivot, and an LSU alumnus and Ryan Clark asked him, who is wide receiver you right now? Ohio State or LSU? And Jaxon Smith-Njigba fixed his mouth to say LSU right now. And then LSU for history's sake. And I'm like, all right, that's what you believe. That's what you believe. Dog, you had one of the best seasons of any wide receiver ever. And you had one of the best receiving seasons of an Ohio State wide receiver ever. Dog, like, I don't know what to tell you about that one, man. Because Garrett Wilson is there. Chris Olave is there. Marvin Harrison Jr. is there. Jeremiah Smith is there right now. Y'all make more money than them dudes? Like, I don't understand that part. And I'm sure that if you're a Buckeye fan, you probably saw this already. But I did want to raise your awareness if you did not, because it feels like between Paul Feinbaum, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, and now Tony Alford, Ohio State's been catching some bullets, dog. Going into a week where, all right, so we're not the number one team. Feinbaum thinks we're going to get blown out. Smith-Njigba, who played Ohio State, thinks LSU is it. And Tony Alford says Michigan is just a better place than Ohio State. Whew. Lord help the rest of the world if the Buckeyes go and beat the brakes off of Texas this weekend.